This is CTV News with Nafisa Kareem.
And I will give this role everything I have. Thank you.
Tonight, change of command. The city of Victoria officially welcomes its newest police chief as expectations are set with a new face sitting at the helm. Also tonight.
Cease and desist, coming to get you, you're on my list.
Local band changes brand. A group of local musicians served with a cease and desist, saying the band's logo looks a little too familiar. Plus, Adam finds out why a 63-year-old from Gabriola attempted to canoe solo across the country. Later on the Sawatsky sign-off. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. Victoria and Esquimalt officially have a new chief of police. Chief Fiona Wilson assumed command of the department this afternoon. CTV's Anna McMillan takes us to the swearing-in ceremony.
Two police chiefs are piped into Government House, beginning a formal transfer of leadership witnessed by hundreds.
I'm really looking forward to getting out on the road in patrol and getting to know the city.
Chief Fiona Wilson is taking charge of the Victoria and Esquimalt Police Department, replacing longtime Chief Del Manic.
She's super excited, as I'm sure you heard from her, to take the reins at Vic PD, and then the department's in good hands.
I will be faithful.
Wilson spent nearly 27 years with Vancouver Police, most recently as a deputy. Now she's overseeing law enforcement in two very different communities.
I have a lot of work to do to get to know the communities, to get to know the members, to really deeply understand what's important to the citizens of both Victoria and Esquimalt, and what's important to the members of Vic PD.
Her work will inevitably take her to Pandora Avenue, where addiction, mental health, homelessness, and crime collide.
I take a very compassionate approach to social challenges in our communities, but I also think it's really important that everyone in community can enjoy public spaces.
She takes control shortly before police officers return to schools. The district dropped the program 2 years ago due to concerns about the harm their presence could cause, particularly for racialized students.
That is important moving forward, to listen to what some of those concerns are, to address them as best we can, and to move forward with having police officers in schools.
Wilson joins the department when recruitment is lagging and a new budget is being prepared. In the months ahead, she and the police board will develop a strategic plan, but first...
The board's immediate priority for the incoming chief is an opportunity for her to integrate within the department, to get to know the members, to build relationships with the community, and to understand the Vic PD culture.
With the stroke of a pen and the passing of Vic PD's flag, two communities have a new chief constable for the first time in nearly a decade.
And I will give this role everything I have.
With that, a new era begins for Vic PD. Anna McMillan, CTV News, Victoria.
Well, everyone on Vancouver Island has heard of 3 sailing waits at BC Ferries, but have you ever heard of the band that goes by the same name? Well, now you have, after BC Ferries issued a cease and desist order to the band. CTV's Brendan Strange shows us why.
When Cam and his 3 buddies decided to form a band, getting noticed was their first hurdle.
We were playing bonspiels Saturday nights, making sure that the party was lively.
Coming up with a catchy name came next.
We were actually gonna call ourselves Runaway Lane. You know those things from the on the Coquihalla Highway?
After a quick Google, the group realized that name was already taken, so they went with something a bit more island-based.
Kind of went with Plan B, which was 3 sailing wait.
Making an obvious reference to BC Ferries and the delays many have experienced at the terminal. Now the band is making waves after BC Ferries issued a cease and desist order pertaining to the band's use of imagery and font in its logo, looking a little too close for comfort for the transportation giant. BC Ferries telling CTV News, "We respect local artists and their creativity. This isn't about the band's name or their music. In fact, 3 sailing wait is pretty accurate if you don't have a reservation with the volume of travelers we're seeing today. Trademark law requires us to act when something could cause confusion. If we don't, we risk losing the ability to protect our brand against more serious or misleading uses in the future." The band quickly complied with no ill will and is now soaking up all the media attention that has started to get them noticed.
It's definitely been a lot, but we welcome it. We're trying to take it in stride and accept every interview we can.
3 sailing wait is sticking with the name, although it has now changed its imagery.
You got something that belongs to me.
Now the band has written a new song about the experience.
Cease and desist, come on to get you, you're on my list.
And as they pen those new songs and soak up the attention, they say bookings are open.
Grateful for the attention. 3sailingaway.com.
Cease and desist, come on to get you, catch my drift.
Brendan Strain, CTV News, Saanich.
Catchy tune. The Ministry of Transportation is looking to make some much-needed safety improvements to a strip of Highway 1 in Duncan. The ministry plans to add a 1.8-meter-high fence on the median along Highway 1 between Beverly Street and York Road that's expected to be complete by spring 2026. It's to encourage students and other pedestrians to use clearly marked and signaled crosswalks nearby. Public calls for safety enhancements along the strip of highway have been echoed loudly by members of the community, as the area has seen multiple pedestrian-involved collisions in recent years. A BC-based conservation group is calling on members of the public after noticing some concerning behavior regarding people's proximity to wild seals and their pups. Wildwise Society, an organization with roots in Souk, says they've noticed multiple instances of kayakers and paddleboarders attempting to grab seals, or rather grab close-range photos of seals they've spotted in the Souk water basin. In addition to the potential risks that come with exposure to diseases, Wildwise adds that approaching, touching, or disturbing harbor seal pups can cause stress that may prevent the seal's mother from returning.
A lot of those kayakers have been going up and trying to take photos with their cell phones, which if you're that close that you're getting quite a detailed photo with your cell phone, that's not appropriate behavior around wildlife. Think of it as, you're holding a baby yourself and someone is coming up to you and taking photos at close range. Like, that doesn't really make anybody comfortable. And so we should be treating wildlife kind of with the same respect in mind.
Disturbing marine wildlife is illegal in Canada. Folks concerned about the safety of a particular seal are asked to keep their distance and to get in touch with the Vancouver Aquarium Marine Mammal Rescue Society or the DFO. Crab fishers in BC have watched their industry sink in recent months as Chinese tariffs hit their profits. According to the BC Crab Fishermen's Association, a 25% levy has dropped the export of Dungeness crab to China by nearly 60% compared to last year. The industry saw profits fall below $5 million in June for the first time since the early months of the COVID pandemic. The group is now calling on the federal government to make immediate changes.
We'd like to see the tariffs removed and resume back to normal business, but we've tried talking to government and they've listened to our concerns, but nothing has actually been done so far to make changes in our situation here.
The Department of Fisheries and Oceans says it is aware of the challenges and is working to reduce the impacts. The Chinese tariffs are in retaliation to Canadian tariffs on electric vehicles last year. BC's Minister of Forests was near Colcombe Beach this week, presenting the Dashwood Fire Department with a special award. On Monday, a commemorative axe was presented to volunteers at the Mid-Island Fire Department as a token of gratitude for their work. Battling numerous wildfires this summer season, the team was involved in multiple firefights this year, including the Wesley Ridge wildfire, where the department's work was heralded as a massive success as they managed to save every single structure that stood in the fire's path. A familiar name in Canadian sports is back in the headlines after receiving a helping hand from a kind stranger on Vancouver Island's West Coast Trail. In addition to her multiple medals in both Summer and Winter Olympics, Canadian icon Clara Hughes can now add the completion of the West Coast Trail in Crocs to the list of her impressive athletic achievements. In a post to social media, Hughes says her journey on the world-famous trail got off to a rocky start after losing one of her shoes while attempting to cross a creek. However, thanks to the kindness of a nearby stranger, Hughes was able to continue her hike with the aid of a beat-up Croc.
There was a fellow that was watching kind of the latter part of our little misadventure, and he asked me what happened, and I told him I lost my shoe. And this guy's name was Steve, and Steve became my hero of the trail, along with his 15-year-old son, Marley. Steve basically went into action and found shoes for me, and they happened to be from his son, from this 15-year-old boy who had an old beat-up pair of Crocs.
Proof that a little luck and kindness can go a long way, even on the West Coast Trail. Well, still to come, updates after a devastating day in Ukraine. Plus,
humiliation, intimidation, isolation tactics, failures to provide medical care, discrimination and exploitation.
a long list supported by evidence finds widespread abuse and mistreatment of players, coaches, and parents across all levels of Canadian sport. 19 degrees, a little overcast out there, and Lou will be here with the full forecast after the break.
CTV weather brought to you by Expedia Cruises, customizing dream vacations with unbelievable value. Call or learn more at expediacruises.ca.
Hey, West Shore youth, looking for a fun spot to hang out? Youth nights are here. Skating, art, swims, and a place to chill. Staff-led and supervised for a safe, inclusive vibe. Check out wspr.ca for more info.
And Lou joins us now with the forecast, and definitely not as hot today, but that'll soon change.
Yeah, it was cooler and cloudier today, but things will change once again as we head into tomorrow for the Labor Day long weekend. As you can see in our futurecast, the clouds will clear out of the way for pretty much the whole island as we start off your early morning commute tomorrow. Slight chance of seeing some thunder showers for the inland sections of Vancouver Island. Port Hardy tomorrow, slight chance of early morning showers. It clears up quite nicely through the afternoon, 19 degrees. Showers expected on Saturday, drying up on Sunday, and then Labor Day Monday, a mix of sun and cloud, 19 degrees. You can expect to see a few clouds for Tuesday as well for Port Alberni and the inland regions. A chance of afternoon thunder showers tomorrow, 31. And then look at that, heading into the Labor Day long weekend, you're looking at temperatures between 28 and 30 degrees. Tuesday, sunny skies and 25 for the West Coast. Mostly cloudy skies tomorrow, and then you'll enjoy a mix of sun and cloud for Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, with temperatures between 18 and 20 degrees. For Comox, a chance of afternoon thunder showers tomorrow and 26. Blue sky sunshine to kick off the Labor Day long weekend on Saturday. A few clouds on Sunday, 25 degrees on Monday, 26 degrees on Tuesday. For Nanaimo, you'll see a mix of sun and cloud tomorrow, 27 degrees for Saturday, 25. That's what you can expect for Sunday and Monday. Touch warmer on Tuesday under sunny skies at 26 degrees. And then tomorrow for Victoria, we're looking at a mix of sun and cloud, 24 degrees into Saturday, a touch cooler at 22. And Sunday, a mix of sun and cloud in 21 degrees. Heading into Labor Day Monday, you're looking at blue sky sunshine in 22. The first day of school, it warms up, sunny skies with highs to 25 degrees. So looking pretty good as kids finish up the summer holidays. Nafisa.
Thanks, Anne. Well, it's being called one of the biggest and deadliest attacks on Ukraine since the Russian invasion. More than 600 missiles and drones raining down damage and death in Kyiv. At least 19 people are dead, among them children. As first responders clear the rubble, Canadian officials are accusing Russian President Vladimir Putin of deliberately targeting civilians, asserting the attack only hardens allies' resolve to see the war end. Here's CTV's Rachel Aiello on the major escalation at a time when peace talks were supposed to be happening.
Multiple body bags pulled from this smoldering residential building in Kyiv after Russia launched a massive air attack on the capital. Dozens of buildings were hit or damaged by debris. Russia claimed the strikes were targeting Ukraine's military-industrial complex, but the death toll, expected to climb, already includes 4 children.
The Ukrainians are holding very hard, and so the Russians are pounding. They're not willing to negotiate yet.
The attack, the first targeting the city center since the Alaska summit, raising new questions about where U.S. President Donald Trump's peace talks stand.
He was not happy about this news, but he was also not surprised.
The European Union and United Kingdom are summoning Russia's envoys after strikes damage their diplomatic offices in the capital.
We are keeping maximum pressure on Russia.
The Canadian embassy was not hit. Foreign Affairs confirming all staff are safe. But that didn't deter Prime Minister Mark Carney from blasting Russia in a lengthy statement. By murdering when he should be talking, Putin demonstrates in the most horrific manner that his mission to subsume the Ukrainian people under his tyranny continues. Carney said in part, "The Prime Minister was just in Kyiv, where he vowed Canada's aid contributions could expand in the event of a ceasefire."
And I would not exclude the presence of troops.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has been working the phones with top world leaders in the aftermath of the attack, thanking them for their support and pressing for tough new sanctions on Russia. Rachel Aiello, CTV News, Ottawa.
The Future of Sport Commission has released a damning report highlighting ongoing abuse, harassment, discrimination, and a culture of silence within Canadian sport. CTV's BC Bureau Chief Andrew Johnson has more on the recommendations.
Do you see this?
They traveled the country for a year, speaking to hundreds of athletes, administrators, coaches, and parents. The consensus, clear.
The Canadian sports system is in crisis. As many have told us, it is broken.
The Future of Sport in Canada Commission found evidence of widespread abuse and mistreatment at all levels. A lack of protection for children and Olympians alike left vulnerable.
Physical punishment, sexual assault, training while injured, humiliation, intimidation, isolation tactics, failures to provide medical care, discrimination, and exploitation.
The commission also found in a win-at-all-costs culture of silence, when an athlete musters up the courage to come forward, they often run into a brick wall.
Lost in the web of various complaints mechanism, resulting in many feeling helpless and abandoned.
The commission is making 71 recommendations for change. It suggests the creation of a unified national safe sport tribunal to eliminate the patchwork between local, provincial, and federally regulated organizations and enforce legislation at all levels. Federal funding being made conditional on compliance, background checks, and a nationwide public registry to flag wrongdoers and restrict access. Survivors of abuse like gymnast Amelia Klein say with the release of this report, their horrible experiences are finally being validated.
To have them influence what we hope is going to be meaningful change in the system is, there are hardly words to actually describe what that feels like.
She says the ball is now in Ottawa's court to act. These are only recommendations that, after another round of feedback, will then be presented to government. Andrew Johnson, CTV News, Vancouver.
Canada Post is urging the union representing its workers to revisit its offers, saying there is still a substantial gap between the two sides. In the latest round of contract talks, the Crown Corporation says the union has hardened its position on many items and added new demands. 55,000 postal workers rejected an offer by the Crown Company earlier this year. Canada Post says it's now urging the union to take another look to, quote, align with the realities confronting the company, pointing to mounting financial losses and the need for what it calls urgent changes. Canada Post reported a loss before tax of $407 million in the second quarter. Coming up, Cross Canada Canoe. Adam finds out the story behind a 63-year-old from Gabriola Islands attempts to paddle solo from coast to coast. Next on the Sawatsky Sign-Off. For us tonight, Adam checks in with a Gabriola Island man in Ottawa who is in the midst of a solo canoe trip across the country on this Encore Sawatsky Sign-Off.
When Bert Terhart began preparing to paddle across the country, he hadn't actually been in a canoe in more than 40 years.
I was not at all, in any way, shape, or form, prepared for the amount of work that it actually required.
Unlike when Bert was a kid, when it was all so effortless.
Sense of adventure that you have every time you step out your front door.
That stopped as he grew up and focused on his career, until Bert started questioning where his life was going.
You know, perhaps there's some way that I can make more of a contribution.
The 63-year-old began his solo canoe trip on BC's west coast. With no electronic navigation, he's paddled and portaged over the Rockies, across the prairies, now through Ontario, covering more than 40 kilometers a day.
The hardest part is not the physicality of it all. The hardest part is the mental discipline you need to get up and paddle every single day.
After sleeping about 4 hours a night, Bert spends up to 12 hours a day in his canoe, following the same river and lake system that Indigenous people have been traveling for millennia.
And if you want to know something about a person, you should walk a mile in their shoes. So I've just chosen to walk 4,000 miles.
Ben's planning to make it to the Atlantic by mid-November, but more than halfway through his 7-month journey, he's already finding a deeper connection to this place and its people.
It's an incredibly beautiful country. It's unbelievably diverse. The people are amazing.
While the strangers he's met along the way have left encouragement through signatures on his canoe, Bert hopes he's been able to reciprocate by offering inspiration to start realizing their own dreams.
You're never too young or too old to step outside the front door with an open heart and open mind.
To reconnect to the world with the wide-eyed wonder of youth. And like this picture of Bert portaging over the highest peak on his journey, know that no matter how small you feel in the face of huge adversity, your determination will always be bigger.
You just have to persist. If you choose to persist at anything, then you will succeed.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News.
Great advice. That is it for CTV News, Vancouver Island. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night. Today on CTV News, a disturbing discovery.
We've only found human remains of the residents so far.
The homicide team takes over the case of a missing woman in Maple Ridge, and now a man has been charged with indignity to human remains. Also tonight. Tinder dry, the warning from fire crews as BC's wildfire season is far from over. And
we just managed to convince ourselves that if we missed Expo 87 in Vancouver, we would regret it for the rest of our lives.
I still stand by that.
And by the way,
he definitely missed Expo 86, but went for the Beachcombers instead. Conan O'Brien's wild 80s road trip to Gibson's.
This is CTV News with Nafisa Kareem.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us. We begin with a major development in connection with a missing persons case in Maple Ridge. Human remains have been found, and now a man has been charged. CTV's Martin McMahon joins us live from IHIT headquarters in Surrey. Martin, this relates to the disappearance of Jessica Cunningham?
Nafisa, Jessica Cunningham, 43-year-old Jessica Cunningham, was last seen in June, and now a disturbing development with homicide investigators taking over this case. Miley Barron has been charged with indignity to human remains after those remains were discovered at a home on Gillis Place in Maple Ridge, in a quiet neighborhood where investigators have swarmed this week. Police say the pair lived here. A white forensics tent has been set up on the lawn, while tarps have been blocking the view of the home's front porch. A tow truck also arrived at the home to remove the SUV in the driveway. The Integrated Homicide Investigation Team has taken charge of the case, although many questions remain.
It's too early for us to determine if it's related, or if it is intimate partner violence. We're still following the evidence so far, and we're actively working to see how the circumstances laid out. We can't say that right now. At this point, I can only say that they were in an intimate relationship.
Cunningham was last seen in June and reported missing in July. It's unclear how long the remains have been on the property. Investigators are still trying to piece all of this together. At this point, they are actually still working to identify the remains that they have found on that property. And investigators ask you to come forward if you have any information that can help with this case. Nafisa?
Martin McMahon live for us tonight. Thank you, Martin. Meanwhile, the family of a murdered Kelowna woman is demanding changes to the justice system to help protect victims of domestic violence. Rob Buffum joins us live from Victoria with more on a desperate plea from Bailey McCourt's family. Rob.
Nafisa, Bailey McCourt's family says the justice system is broken and they want to see reform that they're calling Bailey's Law implemented. 32-year-old Bailey McCourt was killed on July 4th in broad daylight in a Kelowna parking lot. The mother of two was beaten to death by a hammer. Her friend was also attacked and left with injuries. McCourt's estranged husband, James Plover, is charged with second-degree murder. Earlier that day, he'd been convicted of uttering threats and assault by choking in a domestic violence case, but wasn't held in custody pending his sentencing. McCourt's aunt says her death was preventable.
It will protect lives. And we don't want to see anybody else go through what our family is going through. And so we need these changes. It absolutely has to happen. We're not going to stop fighting until we see these changes implemented.
The changes the family wants to see include GPS monitoring and a registry of convicted domestic offenders, first-degree murder charges for domestic homicide, and risk assessment tools for those likely to reoffend. They also want to see stricter domestic violence bail laws. BC's Attorney General Nikki Sharma tells us that she is reviewing the proposals and also that she has already advocated with Ottawa to see stricter bail reform as it relates to domestic violence, especially in the context of certain offenses that tend to escalate, specifically those related to choking and suffocation. Nafisa.
Thank you, Rob. Local infectious disease experts are slamming the state of public health in the United States after the head of the Centers for Disease Control was forced out. They fear what's happening south of the border will have ripple effects on our healthcare system. Since Donald Trump was reelected, he's started the process of withdrawing from the World Health Organization, changed COVID vaccine guidelines, and now, after only 1 month in the position, the head of the CDC has been fired. The former director of the BC CDC says he would often look to the U.S. Center for Policy Guidance. Experts are now sounding the alarm, worried our health is in jeopardy.
Well, I think we're just entering very scary times. I mean, if you lose all this capacity and you defund research and surveillance and make crazy policies of vaccinations, then I think we could look back at this as a really pivotal time in our health in North America.
I don't really know any other way to say this, but it's catastrophic what's happening in the United States right now in terms of public health.
The doctors say this is an opportunity for Canada to become a global leader in public health. Crab fishers in BC have watched their industry sink in recent months as Chinese tariffs hit their profits. According to the BC Crab Fishermen's Association, a 25% levy has dropped the export of Dungeness crab to China by nearly 60% compared to last year. The industry saw profits fall below $5 million in June for the first time since the early months of the COVID pandemic. The group is now calling on the federal government to make immediate changes.
We'd like to see the tariffs removed and resume back to normal business, but we've tried talking to government and they've listened to our concerns, but nothing has actually been done so far to make changes in our situation here.
The Department of Fisheries and Oceans says it is aware of the challenges and is working to reduce the impacts. The Chinese tariffs are in retaliation to Canadian tariffs on electric vehicles last year. A fire engulfed a vacant home in New Westminster this morning. Flames could be seen shooting from the home on Queens Avenue near 10th Street just after 5 a.m. Crews worked quickly to put out the flames before they spread to an apartment building next door. No one was hurt, and the cause of the fire is still under investigation. As British Columbians prepare to hit the road for the last long weekend of the summer, the province is urging travelers to be fire conscious as tinder dry conditions persist in many places. The warning comes as RCMP and Penticton have arrested a man in connection with this suspicious wildfire that started in that community on Monday. With the help of air support, firefighters quickly got a handle on it, but you can see how close it was to nearby houses. Elsewhere across the province, 20 new fires have been reported in the last 24 hours. That brings the active total to more than 80. Hot, dry conditions expected over the next several days will keep the fire danger rating elevated.
Even just a cigarette butt out the window could start a major fire. And so I really want to emphasize how important it is to be personally responsible right now, because a wildfire could destroy people's homes, it can destroy their livelihoods, really throw communities into chaos. And we never want to be in that position.
Evacuation alerts in Peachland have been lifted as crews have now contained a fire there. It was sparked when a motorhome crashed on the side of Highway 97. Still ahead, Conan O'Brien comes clean about a, quote, very nerdy adventure he had here in BC. But first,
we pulled the truck and trailer right into the stadium, and then his band, I think 7 of them, crammed in here.
a massive music star crammed into an itty-bitty space. How a couple from Alberta ended up playing host to Post Malone in their unique music venue. Welcome back. A Calgary couple has big country music dreams, even if their stage is small. They've created the littlest honky-tonk, a horse trailer turned mobile music venue. A dozen country acts have already performed there, and now it's even gotten the attention of superstar Post Malone. CTV's Stephanie Thomas has the story.
Post Malone and his band crammed into the littlest honky-tonk, a converted horse trailer towed from Calgary down to floor level at the Rice-Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake City, Utah. Posty is on the road for his country album F1 Trillion Stadium Tour, but he wanted to strum on this little stage.
His manager saw one of our videos organically, which is the best way that we could get out.
Boots and Laura Graham recently started a video series recording local and international country musicians in the littlest honky-tonk. In June, Post Malone recorded 2 videos celebrating country western lifestyle.
He was dragging calves at a branding the day before, like working cowboy stuff. And he has platinum teeth and face tattoos and a rap career, so I was not expecting that. It was completely out of left field for me.
The couple began refurbishing a horse trailer in 2021, over time adding more music memorabilia. Now, it's like a mini museum.
It's like stuff we're interested in and have always been interested in, so it's like country music stuff. As people know what we're doing, they kind of want to be a little part of the project as well.
The stories from this tiny set are almost as precious as the items on its walls.
Post Malone stood between these horns, or Corb Lund was a little bit too tall, so he had to crouch down in here. And
they hope to one day host other icons of country music and maybe take the trailer down to Nashville.
Sky's the limit. Dolly Parton. Here we come.
Stephanie Thomas, CTV News, Calgary.
Well, BC was in the spotlight during a recent episode of Conan O'Brien's podcast. The comedian sat down with his longtime friend Greg Daniels, producer of TV's The Office. The two reminisced about the time they drove from Seattle to Vancouver to see Expo 86, but they had to admit they were a bit late to the party.
And by the way, the expo was over. The expo was over, but we thought, we'll see the remnants. We're in our motel room quickly sussing out that, well, this expo isn't really happening, and it's raining a lot, and all the exhibits are closed, and there's half a Ferris wheel. What are we doing here? And then we're spending a lot of time. We got hooked on
beachcombers.
Yeah, and their newfound love of beachcombers made them take a trip to Gibson's, where they actually met one of the stars. Now, they didn't name which actor they met, but O'Brien says they found him by pretending to be reporters. Crafty. Well, we had a bit of break from the sun today, but our Ann Lou is still soaking it all up at the PNE, and her forecast is next, plus a familiar face.
We are in Playland with the rides.
He spent decades telling stories from the PNE, and Mike McCardle is back at it. We'll catch up with our old friend as CTV News at 5 continues. Looks like some clouds from our camera on top of Grouse Mountain, but let's head over to see Anne at the PNE, where she's got perhaps clouds of cotton candy, I see.
Yes, they're putting me to work here, and as you can see, I'm not doing a great job at it. Not as delicious as I hoped, but it's looking pretty good. You know what? I'll continue to do this while I show you what we can expect in our forecast, starting off with some warnings for the inland sections of the North Coast, as well as for Fraser Canyon and for the North Thompson. You know, there's still under heat warnings right through until tomorrow. For the southern interior, chance of thunder showers through the afternoon from Vernon right down to Osoyoos, stretching all the way to Nelson, Cranbrook, and for Revelstoke. For the central interior, mostly sunny skies once again. For the coast along the interior, you will see temperatures between 26 and 32 degrees. For the northern half of the province, blue skies and sunshine, temperatures between 18 and 32. This is a mess, Nafisa. As we head to the North Island, you'll start off with some showers for Port Hardy. Clears up quite nicely. Chance of afternoon thunder showers for Campbell River and Comox, highs to 26 degrees. And then for the South Island, we're looking at chance of afternoon thunder showers for Port Alberni. Other than that, a mix of sun and cloud for the Southern Gulf Islands and Victoria. For the Sunshine Coast, a mix of sun and cloud as well. Active weather up the Sea to Sky Highway for Squamish and for Whistler, temperatures between 28 and 29 degrees. And for us across the lower mainland, we're looking at a mix of sun and cloud tomorrow. Temperatures between 25 and 28 degrees. And the next 5 days, not too bad as we head into the Labor Day long weekend. A few clouds here and there, cooling down for Saturday and Sunday. Labor Day Monday, a mix of sun and cloud. And then Tuesday, heats up once again. We're looking at sunny skies with temperatures between 24 and 29 degrees. So I tried my best, but I'm pretty sure it's as delicious as everyone else's, even though it's not that perfect, Nafisa.
I mean, it doesn't have to look good to taste good, Anne, so, but yeah, you should maybe stick to the weather.
I think so.
Okay, thanks, Anne. Well, for a limited time only, Mike McArdle is back, and once again, he's telling stories like no other. This time, a special engagement at the PNE. Our St. John Alexander caught up with the broadcast legend.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know. Welcome back.
Tough to do a job.
Kathy.
Hello, Kathy.
Hi.
When you're this charming and keep being spotted.
I thought you retired, sir.
I did. Mike McArdle is back on the beat, proving after decades as a reporter, he's still got it. Now at the PNE.
With Colin.
With Colin.
Who's doing all the work.
And that legendary story-finding technique has not changed.
Every day, look for something. And what are we looking for? I don't know. But we'll know when we see it.
As he scopes the fairground looking for the next tale.
You look this way.
Okay.
And I'll look this way.
All right. He wants everyone to know retirement is treating him well. He's written another book. And his neck? Yeah, it's sore, but is recovering after a nasty fall. Near the entrance to the farm, Mike thinks he's found a good spot.
Except for the music.
Well, it's Billy Idol. You don't like Billy Idol?
I have no idea who Billy Idol is.
He sees potential, chats people up, makes them laugh. Mike is trying to find his story. This is how he does it.
Yeah, oh, okay, that's great. Oh, good. Well, I'm sure he'll find one.
Always does.
Yes, he does.
And he did, in this big yellow chair, getting the crowd involved.
Hello.
How many people can it hold?
All exchange names.
Andrew. Joseph. I'm Alex.
Now you're all friends. Okay.
As he says hello to more people.
It's been a long time.
In the back of his mind, he's putting the big story on the big chair together. It will be posted on the PNE's Facebook page. Now, we haven't seen the finished product, but we know it will be in McArdle's legendary style. St. John Alexander, CTV News, Vancouver.
A legend indeed. Coming up, though, it is music to your ears. We've got your concert countdown, and it's all about that bass. Plus, the pilot of a small plane makes an emergency crash landing. We'll show you how he managed to survive underwater until rescuers could reach him. We'll be right back. Proof Tonight production is officially underway on a new Star Wars movie. Lucasfilm revealed this image today showing Ryan Gosling on set for his previously confirmed role in Star Wars Starfighter. It's set to be a standalone Star Wars film, one of several since the original 9-movie saga wrapped up in 2019. A separate new trilogy is also in the works. Time for Concert Countdown, our weekly guide to live music in Vancouver. Here's what's on tap on our city stages for the days ahead.
Are you the one? I'm not a guy. When I'm with you, I feel alive. Is it fun? Is it survive? Is it love?
Indie rock band Wet Leg is bringing their Moisturizer tour to Vancouver. The Grammy-winning band from the Isle of Wight will take the stage at Malkin Bowl on Wednesday. Fans can expect their signature mix of sharp lyrics and playful energy.
Because you know I'm all about that bass, no trouble. I'm all about that bass, no trouble.
Get ready to feel all about that bass. Pop star Meghan Trainor set to take the stage at Pacific Coliseum Saturday night as part of the PNE's Summer Night concert series. Trainor has earned a Grammy, several multi-platinum hits, and sold out 3 world tours. Also Saturday night, tennis with special guest Real Estate are bringing their indie pop rock sounds to Malkin Bowl. The double bill promises a fun summer night where fans can dance under the stars surrounded by the beauty of Stanley Park. Now the preview of CTV News at 6, Mi Jung Lee.
Nafisa, a grisly discovery inside the Maple Ridge home of a missing woman. Police have been investigating this home where Jessica Cunningham lived with her partner, Miley Barron. Cunningham was last seen in June. Now human remains have been found in the house. Her partner has been charged with indignity to human remains. And an abandoned house in the Hastings Sunrise neighborhood has turned into a nightmare for residents. It's become a magnet for squatters and illegal dumping. What is the city doing about it? And why an addiction recovery program at St. Paul's Hospital is so successful. One woman's journey. Back at 6. Nafisa?
Thanks, Mi Jung. A pilot survives an ocean splashdown thanks to a tiny pocket of air that was inside his plane. Plus, an ultra-rare electric blue lobster makes one shell of an entrance. Here's CNN's Jeremy Roth with Take a Look at This.
Watch rescuers pull a pilot from an ocean plane crash they say he survived in a tiny pocket of air in the submerged craft. Responders in the town of Oak Island, North Carolina were dispatched to the plane after they say it experienced engine failure and made an emergency landing in the Atlantic Ocean. They were greeted feet first by the pilot, whom they say had survived inside a small pocket of air in the back of the aircraft's cabin before being pulled out of the windshield and taken back to shore. Video of the plane being towed back in was later shared online. And from a coastal ocean rescue to an eye-opening ocean discovery, say hello to Neptune, an incredibly rare electric blue lobster that recently moved in at Northeastern University's Marine Science Center. They say this surreal cerulean crustacean was snagged in July by a lobsterman who, along with a local educator, donated Neptune to the university after realizing just how rare it is. Researchers say lobsters sporting a shell this vibrantly blue are about a 1 in 2 million occurrence, which makes Neptune truly out of this world. For Take a Look at This, I'm Jeremy Roth.
Wildlife officials in Florida are getting creative in their fight against the invasive Burmese python population by sending in some very unusual helpers.
Well, we've just deployed these robotic rabbits out in the field. So we're trying to attract or lure pythons to come from out from their hiding places and come to us.
Yeah, he said robotic rabbits, and the decoys look, move, and even smell like real rabbits. They're also fitted with heat sensors and cameras to send out a signal when a python slithers nearby. Well, Burmese pythons are not native to Florida and have decimated up to 95% of small mammals in Everglades National Park. Now I've seen it all. I'll return for CTV News at 6 with Mi Jung Lee. Right now, here is Sandy Ronaldo with CTV National News. Have a great evening.